Welcome to American Fight Stories with Dabar. That's me. We are challenging all Americans to be better Americans, showcasing excellent American fighters. And today I have Jessica, and she has just blossomed into I'm so proud of her. She's proud of herself.
I am. I really am.
You've come a long way, baby, haven't you?
I really have.
You've come a long way, baby. Okay. She's a fighter. And I'm so proud of the fight that, sometimes, you kind of try to measure, you kind of judge. I hate to say that word, but you kind of try to figure out what kind of fight somebody's got in them. And I have seen the fight come alive in this woman.
You didn't think I had it in me in the beginning, did you?
I
don't blame you. I didn't think I had it in me.
Yeah, she's really a powerful woman, and I'm just amazed at her as she continues to grow. So I am proud to have her, and we're just going to say her name is Jessica. And some of you know that I've been trying to find a guest to come on to American Fight Stories. That's a man that has struggled with domestic violence, and I was not able to find one. And so,
next best thing.
Noelle, you're a powerful fighter, and so we had an opening for Miss Jessica to come on and tell her story. We've kind of been waiting for this moment to have her on. Jessica, I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
I really am. She's one of the things we're going to maybe talk about today is just kind of the process of leaving. Like what is that? Look, first of all, just tell me who is Jessica? Who are you?
Jessica is a mother, a homeschooler. I come from a long line of very stubborn women. That's
stubborn. Oh, wait a minute. Here's the bell. Okay, stubborn women. Now, what does that mean when you say stubborn? Are you saying that in a positive way?
Oh,
or
absolutely.
Okay, what does that mean when you say? What do these women do in your family that are stubborn women?
Well, my great-grandmother got divorced when you didn't do it. And, back when it just simply wasn't done.
Okay.
And my mother and my grandmother have survived. My grandmother especially has survived things that I couldn't possibly imagine.
Okay.
And so I like to think that some of that is genetically, been passed down to me. And it just means that you don't give up, you don't give in, and you love hard, and you fight hard, and you don't cave under pressure.
Okay.
And I like to think that I've got a little bit of that in me.
So it's a generational thing that she's watched other women, strong women, stubborn women that are prepared to fight for things that matter. And one of them is her grandmother, is a trailblazer that was willing to fight through prejudice, through shunning, or through
great-grandmother.
Great-grandmother.
Mm-hmm. Uh-huh.
Okay. And so she's watched adversity in action, and people that don't give up, they don't bow down, don't cower down, and they're prepared to fight.
Yes.
Great-grandmother, grandmother, mother, stubborn women. And then here's another one. That's right in front of my eyes, right in front of your eyes, is Miss Jessica, stubborn woman.
That's got a good ring to it.
I like that. That's what we can title this message is
Stubborn Women.
Stubborn Jessica, Stubborn Women.
I like that.
Okay, I don't know. We may come up with something even better than that. Okay, so we're talking about just leaving. How do you this is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and
yes.
and a lot of times, people struggle with what is domestic violence, or what is, when do I is a domestic violence victim? Is it a woman, or can it be a man, or is it what is it? Do you have a definition of what you think domestic violence is?
I would say prolonged general mistreatment, because it can be violence or it can be just being cruel.
Okay.
And it can be man, woman, any gender,
cruelty,
any cruelty.
Yeah, I actually like that part of it. Like, I'll just say this, I think in a lot of relationships, when you listen to stories, the more stories that I listen to, I kind of see fault on both sides. I kind of see, well, the reason they did this. And when you listen to one side, of course, you just get one side. But when you put the two sides together, it makes sense why things happen the way they did. So, but the difference a lot of times is cruelty.
Exactly.
So, the flip, if we flip that concept over, would be to be kind to each other. I mean, America could be kinder. And, we sometimes celebrate kindness. The place where you really should be able to be kind and expect kindness should be in your own home.
Oh,
right?
Absolutely.
Or, whether it's, your childhood home or whatever. But I believe people need peace, and some people, but anyway, so you kind of defined what you think domestic violence is. And can you remember the first time that you saw domestic violence? Even going back to childhood, or did you ever see something that caught your attention and said, what is the cruelty or cruel, or did you ever see anyone with a black eye? Or
probably in movies or something like that. Was probably the earliest that I can ever remember. Really, but
do you remember the movie?
No, I just I have a general sense that I remember, that they would do episodes of TV and stuff about it just so people were aware. But it was always, like you said, it was always black eyes and bruises and all that kind of stuff. And the other part of it isn't talked about, I don't think, quite as much.
So we it's easy to identify, like if everybody would kind of agree that, if they saw, a woman with a black eye, they'd go, yep, that's domestic violence. Yeah. We can all agree to that. And then, the other, or a man or a woman or a man with a black eye, we go, that's domestic violence. But even in my experience of dealing with, some cases and stuff, is that if a man has a black eye, there's usually laughter. What did you do to her? Or, they're not prosecuted quite as well. It is. It's not. It's sexist. It's
it
not
really is.
Equal protection under the law sometimes because men are supposed to suck it up. And I've done more than one case where the man had more injuries than the woman had, and the man was prosecuted, but he didn't bring charges against the woman. So, but is it kind of and sometimes I'll ask people, especially Domestic Violence Awareness Month in October, I'll ask people, what do you know about domestic violence? And they'll start talking about a murder-suicide, or they'll talk about a murder case. And ideally, we would like to prevent domestic homicide by backing the train up a whole lot earlier than a homicide and actually see the domestic violence risk factors and trying to intercept and so that it won't get to that point. So domestic violence is not domestic homicide. We went too far. Somebody stayed too long, right? So, so what are some little things that you've, maybe picked up along the way, just looking at different situations that what is domestic violence more than, a whole lot less traumatic than a black eye? What is, and I actually brought a wheel. So we often you've seen a copy of a power and control wheel, and I tried to draw this out, just as a tool to look at, but you could Google the official PDF online. It's the power and control wheel, and it has 8 different factors to help. And I frequently use this to discuss and teach domestic violence, because there's 8 pieces of pie, and only one thing is actually physical abuse, and there's 7 other things like economic abuse. There's male privilege or female privilege. There's manipulation, using the children. I'm gonna name them all off. Emotional abuse, isolation, minimizing and denying, blaming, gaslighting, using the children, male privilege, economic abuse, coercion and threats, and using intimidation. They've recently, I believe, added another. I was at a conference recently, and they added legal abuse, to the whole process. So some people use, sometimes people say, well, I'll bury you, I'll bury you in court, the threats, you'll never get out of court, Yeah. So, but did any bells go off in your head when I kind of went around that wheel about things that you've seen, or just from friends or yourself, or how would you, early interception of domestic violence?
Many of those things triggered bells. But,
and I'll let you use my tool right here. So you can talk around the tool and point out things that you've remembered and seen with yourself or other people that you know.
So the very first one I would like to say is the first sign.
Sure.
The first sign is probably really one-sided arguments. Not everybody argues, right? Okay. People argue, but when one person is trying to de-escalate and the other person is just escalating the argument
over the other person,
won't allow them to
dominate.
Talk. Exactly.
Yeah, okay.
When people are removed from their support system in small ways. Oh, you always get upset when you talk to them. I don't know why you want to talk to them all the time. Oh, well, we were hanging out and now you're on the phone with them. Why do you always leave the room to talk to your sister?
Okay.
Those types of things are, I would say, probably an early warning sign. Not that, people can be secretive. So if you are being secretive and, then that's different. But,
I'm going to ring the bell on that.
Okay.
It's just that whole isolation thing.
It's a big one.
Nobody's slapped anybody. Nobody has called each other names. It's just, and that's why I love the power and control wheel, because it's not about the physical violence. It's about who's trying to gain more power, more control over another person. Isolating that person to say, well, you can only have, relationships with who I approve of, my family, my church, my friends.
And that circle always seems to shrink.
Yeah. Your support system diminishes because anybody who challenges the insanity has to go. Yep. So isolating someone. And so a lot of times, but those are early signs of trying to put a person in a net, an invisible net, a cage, if you will, so that they cannot have access to relationships that are good. So what's the issue with your sister? How come we don't like your sister? What is your sister about? Is she one of them stubborn women?
She is.
Oh, she is. Okay. Go ahead. What's sister saying? What is she saying?
Oh, just, nothing. Just
she
talking.
Just talks to
Just talk to my sisters or the sisters, someone.
But you love her.
Yeah, I love, you love your family.
Yeah.
They're part of you as much as everything else is. But sometimes it seems like they want to be the only part of you, I feel like. And so you're not allowed to have those other parts, just your parts. And while we're on that subject, if anyone ever tells you that you're not allowed to talk to someone about what's going on in your home, that should probably be immediately
that's good.
Alarm bells going off in your head, because
I feel like you need to be working somewhere. Did we not have any positions open somewhere? I feel like you're already like halfway to the, position of helping other people, because you pick up all this stuff really, really fast.
One day.
And relationships with people, saying that, to say again what you just said about
if they want to be the only part of your life, if they want to remove all the other people from your life and they want to be the only part of your life.
The only one. The king of the castle or the queen, some people call it all kinds of different things now, but some people want to be total domination and control, making all the decisions,
controlling all the money, where you go, when you go, who you
controlling all the money. All right. What else? What else are we? But the warning sign was being the only one when the other person wants to have other people. Yeah.
You want to have your life. You had your life before. Of course you want to keep all the parts of your life, but that's not, sometimes
allowed.
People say that's not allowed.
It's not allowed.
Also, while we're on that subject, anyone who tells you you're not allowed to do anything, it's probably not someone outside of the bounds of the law.
These stubborn women are getting in the way of happy, okay. All right. So what else are warning signs that you know of?
So I would say probably, like I said, being allowed to do something or say something, having someone try to edit your speech, the way you talk, the things you say, your feelings, telling you that you're not allowed to feel your feelings is probably a big one.
That's awesome. She is stubborn. She is just
really too
hopelessly stubborn.
I like that. Hopelessly
she's very
stubborn.
Articulate. She knows what she wants. She expresses her feelings. And somebody that tries to shut that down and suppress it, that's a problem. Yep. You're able to talk. A voice is not tolerated in every place, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna do that.
And women, men have, fought through centuries of adversity and civil rights, and we are Americans. American fight story. That everybody should have a voice.
Everyone has the right to free speech.
You should be able to have free speech.
Exactly.
And you should be able to, without abusing another person, without being cruel, you should be able to say some things, and you should be able to talk to who you want to talk to. Most relationships are pretty much exclusive, but you should be able to talk to who you want to talk. You should be able to talk to your sister.
Sure.
So associations, and those actually remind me of constitutional rights that we have as Americans, to the right to free speech. Of course, those are rights that are protected in the Constitution against government interference.
Inalienable from God.
Yes. So, but these are things that, even though those are constitutional rights, they're also concepts of a free man, a free woman, is that I should be able to talk, and I should be able to say what I want to say. I should be able to associate with who I want to associate with. Those are fundamental rights of a human, definitely of an American. Exactly. We should be able to talk to who we want to talk. And I'm glad to talk to you today. Okay.
It's nice to talk to you.
Yes. Okay. All right. What else do you see that are things that people do and people try to control and dominate, things that they say and do?
Just general, I don't know how exactly to explain domination, but just taking, essentially, I don't know exactly how to, filling the space almost, like hovering over you, or, puffing up and making you question whether or not you really want to say or do the thing you were about to say or do. And
They don't have to hit you.
Exactly.
All they have to do is intimidate you to silence your voice.
Or just to tell, to make you known without saying, they can make you know without words that there are going to be consequences for whatever you're about to do next. So choose your next words very carefully.
Serious consequences. And you did it yourself.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
Yeah. You just don't know which direction it's coming from.
Yeah.
Okay. So what other things have you seen and maybe even experienced with different relationships that kind of, what's the most hurtful thing that you've ever seen?
The threats, probably.
Threats. Are they physical threats?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Threats.
If you do this, then I will.
No, I was just threats like I could choke you out just so you'd be quiet, just to get you to be quiet.
Okay.
Those kinds of things.
So just to kind of ring the bell on something very, very important is choking. History of choking is associated with a lot higher risk of domestic homicide. So when they look at domestic homicide cases, there frequently is a history of choking, and they actually they usually prosecute choking cases as a felony, if it goes to that. So
because that's not just the violence, that's the fear. Because that's not something you're unconscious for. You're aware.
Yeah.
And they know,
that you could die, the fear, the adrenaline, and also that, if a woman or man, it's usually, I've seen one case where a man was choked. It's usually women that are choked, but the fear that a lot of women talk about is that if they did die, that their children would be raised by their abuser. So it's not just I'm afraid I'm going to die, but it's a further extension that if I die, that my kids will be raised by this person, So that is another an extra threat on a choking.
Oh, it's a terrifying reality.
Yes, that they could choke you.
That would be the reality of the situation. Is
that's who's going to raise. And I'll just kind of side note here. Even years ago when they had the case with Nicole Brown Simpson and O.J. Simpson, many people watched that play out over, television, live television, and then watched as he got away with it. He got away with it to some degree, and he raised those kids. So we a lot of people that I've talked to have been threatened with that. That's what's going to happen, if I get away with it, But,
well, even outside of that, there's the threat to, I'm going to take the kids. I'm going to take them, and they're going to want to be with me, and there's nothing you can do about it. That's a very real, and the reality of that is that it doesn't, I don't imagine, happen all that often, but when you're in it and the fear is there. When the fear is there, you believe what they tell you because you're supposed to. That's how it works.
Yeah.
And so you believe when they tell you that they're going to get the kids and they're not even going to want to see you anymore. And then where will you be?
Yeah.
So.
Well, other things that you've seen or experienced with other people or friends or?
Just lots of, you take it sort of with a grain of salt because there's a lot of offhanded threats that people make, and that's another red flag that you should pay attention to immediately. Is if they make threats, or if if they make threats and don't apologize, or if their apologies are insincere and
empty apologies.
Empty apologies are the worst. So I'm told. But you just because you don't know the worst part. Probably, I would imagine, is that you don't ever actually know what reality you're living in. Is that you don't know what kind of day you're gonna have when you wake up, and
you have to think through all the scenarios and the threats, and and that
doesn't go away.
Sometimes the accusations about, why are you so dressed up today? Are you going to, have sex with somebody or something? And you're just like, I'm just going to work, and there's accusations. So then sometimes people dress down in order to not, be questioned and interrogated, and they think they're safer if they dress like a bag lady, so nobody will accuse them of, they're just trying to support their kids, so but also, those, go ahead.
I was just going to say, also, if you ever feel like you have to shrink yourself generally, or edit yourself,
you should be able to wear makeup. You should be able to shine.
Yes. Yeah. So you should just be able to be yourself. If you ever feel like someone's trying, this is back to control, but if you ever feel like someone's trying to control who you are as a human, that's not a good spot to be.
We got these humanity rights over here. You're great at that. Okay. So what advice would you give about how did somebody know when it's time? What's the difference between we're arguing, or we don't get along, to we need to just separate, or whatever? How do people know when it's time to leave?
I would say, first and foremost, if you are a person of faith and you ever find yourself praying to God for a sign to leave, that's your sign to leave.
Wow.
Please. Please.
And I'll go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, if you're not a person of faith, if you ever find yourself asking the universe or any if you ever
entity,
if you find yourself
deity,
looking for signs to leave, then it's time to leave.
Yeah.
Better safe than sorry.
Yes. So, and I'm thankful for the people who see, and I've frequently characterized this as like a burning house, like there's a small fire in the back room, and if you don't deal with it, it can consume the whole house, and decisions have to be made. Who am I going to protect, the kids, or am I going to protect this person, or these considerations, and whatever is in, get the kids, get out, get anything else can be replaced, but the house is on fire and you've got to get out if it, comes down to that. And a lot of people die in house fires because they stay too long, or they're, I say, piddling around looking for their toothbrush or something, so, but the only things, and I do kind of a correlation between that and domestic violence and a burning house, but people stay too long, they stay, and so to your knowledge, what are some reasons why people do stay?
There's a litany of reasons. The kids, you stay for the kids. You stay because this is their house and all their stuff is here, and they deserve their father. Yeah, not always, but they do. But that's a reason people stay. You stay because I don't have anywhere to go. You stay because it's not because it's what's done.
I got a birthday party next week. I had somebody say that.
Through the holidays.
Wait till Christmas is over, and then it's kind of like a merry-go-round where
Christmas and Easter are closer together than you think.
We've had 3 Christmases, and I'm still here. I've got birthdays. I've got, Mama has cancer, and I have to take care of an elderly parent or grandma, or we're living in somebody else's house, or we're just procrastinating what needs to be done, taking care of business, so
a lot of it's just fear of starting over. I think just fear of, the devil, right? And
right.
Church teaches us that God hates divorce, and I believe sometimes he does, but I believe that he loves us more than he hates anything.
Yeah.
And if you leaving keeps you safe, then it's worth it.
A courageous position. Exactly. And I've just had another guest that we were talking about spiritual, what some of the pastors are saying and the spiritual advisors. And then, people just have different advice. Some of it is helpful. Some of it is hurtful. Some of it, I've talked to many people over the years that are upset, like they left the church because they couldn't leave their abuser and go to that same church because the church supported the abuse, and so people they need spiritual recovery, but a lot of times they're not finding it in the church. They're not finding the support that they need to. Obviously, if they're doing something wrong, it would be, but they still have the right to choose.
Jesus hung out with sinners.
Yeah,
he didn't come for the well. He came for the sick.
Yes.
So that's where you would find him if he was here now.
Mm-hmm.
You'd find him hanging out with the sinners and the least of us.
That's right.
But God will forgive you
Mm-hmm.
if I could say anything, if that's why you're afraid
if
to
that's
leave.
What's holding you
if
back.
that's what's holding you back, God will forgive you.
Mm-hmm.
Don't ever believe anybody that tells you that divorce is worse than the abuse that you're suffering.
Mm-hmm.
Because God will forgive you. Okay. If He can forgive your abuser, He can forgive you. I promise.
That's right.
But as far as that goes, just you can find a new church.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be all right. It's hard. Starting over is not fun, but it's better than not getting a chance to start over.
Right.
So
some people don't get the chance to start over. Sometimes people stay too long, and it's too late, and bad things happen. Sometimes children learn things, but is there any other tips or things that you've kind of learned along the way with different relationships about domestic violence, or what are you familiar with any resources here?
House of Grace is here. I didn't use them personally, but I probably shouldn't.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But they are, I know people, I know you work closely with them, and I know people who work with them, and they are an amazing resource if you can access it.
So we do have one domestic violence shelter here.
Oh, do we?
That's House of Grace, and it serves 11 counties in the state of Mississippi. And but we found out last week or so that we only have 12 beds, and obviously a lot more need than we have availability. And so there is a place. I'm sure we still have more dog shelters, than we do domestic violence shelters.
Which is a shame.
Yeah, but it's pretty common across the nation that we have more, animal shelters than domestic violence shelters and that sort of thing. But there's just a lot more need. We definitely need that. And what do you think? Where should we start educating about domestic violence?
In our own homes, probably. If you wouldn't want your daughter treated that way, you shouldn't tolerate being treated that way. You should tell your daughters and your sons, absolutely your sons.
Should be taught in the home.
Exactly.
In the home. It probably should be taught in churches.
Oh, absolutely.
In school.
I was raised on the golden rule. My kids know the golden rule well. Treat others the way you want to be treated.
That's not cruel.
No.
Right? That's not cruelty. That's kindness.
Exactly.
Right?
Compassion.
And obviously, modeling that in front of your own children, you're not going to participate in, acts of domestic violence against the other person. You're not, zero tolerance for violence within the home and that sort of thing. There's, what about teen dating violence? What have you taught your boys about teen dating or any? They're not old enough to date, are they?
No, not yet. But
what are you going to teach them?
We've had the talk to imagine to treat your girlfriend the way you would want someone to treat your sister. To treat them with love and kindness and decency and respect, even if you're not in love with them. Okay. Human decency is. Let
them have a voice.
Exactly. You have a voice too.
You have a voice.
It happens both
and
ways.
You can say no.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Please say no.
Say no. Strong no.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But to just to be kind, like you said earlier, to be kind to each other, because if that's where we start, then it all goes from there outwards. Nobody's perfect. People are going to disagree, But you can be kind in the way you disagree with each other.
Yes.
And if you can't, then we should probably pause the conversation.
Okay.
And come back to it later, maybe.
What are some messages that you've heard that you think are helpful to somebody leaving a bad relationship?
You're stronger than you think you are.
Okay. What was some good and bad messages? If people said things that you're like, oh, that's horrible. You know what?
Why didn't you just leave? Please never say that to anyone ever. Please don't.
Don't blame the victim. Don't blame the victim. Okay, go ahead.
Because you don't want to sit there and listen to the answer as to why they didn't leave. So don't ask the question.
Yeah.
But people argue is terrible advice, because if you're coming to someone with a concern about an argument, it's not a people argue argument. You've heard people argue. It's not that.
This is different.
Exactly.
Yeah. So even, and I've kind of noticed this if we're looking at the wheel, there's kind of, if I can pass the wheel back over here. Yeah, I'm sorry. No, you're not. But a lot of time, I realized this when I was doing a domestic violence support group, that, this wheel is not just independent out here in society, your relationship, but there's also other wheels that contribute to this. So, the women that I've frequently had in this domestic violence support group for 3 years, their abuse did not start in the home. It actually started in their childhood. So you would have other people that had traits of, domestic violence in their history. And there would be things like, well, at least he didn't hit you. Like, as long as he doesn't hit you, then it's not abuse. Or
that's terrible advice.
That is not the thing to say. As long as he doesn't hit you, because
that's that keeps a lot of people staying until
they're waiting to be hit.
Yeah, which is a terrible place to be.
And then once they're assaulted to that degree, then they can't leave,
and it never stops. Yeah, the cycle never goes backwards. Not really. Yeah. You can't
undo it and unsee it.
You can scooch back a little bit where he wasn't as bad today as he was yesterday, but it always moves forward. Even if it's years and
progressive.
Years. Exactly.
Okay. So I've noticed that this wheel just this is not just an independent wheel in space, but there are other wheels that turn over here. Sometimes it's, relationships with your dad or relationships with your mother, who also blames and minimizes, and isolates, and, they're emotionally abusive. So you're already a lot of times trained to be a victim long before you ever met. That's why it's like some sort of magical connection, because it's similar to something that you've experienced in childhood already. There's a reason why you're like magnetized to each other, but you've already been primed to, to these things on this wheel. You're already conditioned before you ever, see somebody in those relationships. I think it's really important that we teach healthier relationships in school.
Yeah.
We're more concerned, about algebra, and yet, there are probably a lot of people sitting in penitentiaries that do know how to do algebra, but they couldn't figure out how to have a nonviolent relationship, So anyway, I think some of those things are things that would be progressive, that would be helpful to start conversations and to have a voice that, and that's even why we're doing this show, is to help you talking about things and educating, and me talking and trying to educate people on domestic violence, so that if they're in a domestic violence situation, whether you're male or female, and I mentioned earlier, I couldn't even get a male to come on my show. I know some people who really are, true, male survivors of domestic violence, but it's embarrassing. It's truly embarrassing to be a male, and that's the reason they don't come forward. It's the reason a lot of women don't come forward, is they're embarrassed. They think they can still control it and manage their abuse or manage, what they're dealing with. So,
and the stigma too, like you said, well, he hasn't hit me, so it's not
that bad.
It's not abuse because he hasn't hit me.
At least you didn't get beat up, at least you didn't, if you'd quit doing this, or maybe if you'd put some makeup on, he would, I don't know what, but people say different things,
you would have just listened.
Yeah, if you would just shut your mouth, quit being a stubborn woman. But anyway, what things did you see in your mom that were helpful on, she's a stubborn woman, right?
She is.
What did she say? What did she do? Did she say the right things to you?
She said a lot of the right things to me.
She did.
Mostly, if you have a soft place to land, you don't always. Everyone won't. It's even if you don't, please get
the
safe.
help. Right.
Please get safe. Find help. Someone will help you. But having a soft place to land has always been good. She has fiercely protected us emotionally and physically and spiritually my entire life. She does this funny thing that we call I probably can't swear, but it's called breaking a B word. She's only had to do it like 3 times ever. Okay,
so what's the term you can say? You can say it on here.
Oh, breaking a bitch.
Okay, so what does that mean? I like that.
It's when my
mom...
I'm
going to take notes, okay? I actually would have loved to have your mother on here because I can see a lot of fire in that woman's eyes.
Oh, God. That's where I get it from.
Yeah, I mean...
come by it honest.
Yes, you do.
But
I love your mother.
She's a trip.
And I don't even know her that well, but I'd love to sit down and eat lunch with you and your mother sometime.
She's got some stories.
Yes.
She was a wild one when she was younger. But
stubborn.
Stubborn.
Stubborn
Always
women.
Stubborn.
Okay.
But she always just went above and beyond, and we always knew that we had a safe spot.
You could count on your mother. I'm going to ring the bell. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So in order to have a successful, a more successful outcome on a domestic violence situation, it's nice to have supportive support system. And even, dealing with domestic violence victims, that is a early intervention. Trying to assess where is their support system. So if that is in DeSoto County, Mississippi, then that's where they need to be. If we need to put them on a bus and send them to another state, but where is the strongest support system that they have, because they are going to need it. But you actually have your mother. And she's fierce.
She is.
There is a lot of fight in her.
There really is.
Breaking the bitch. What does that mean?
She's only ever had to do it like 3 times, and one of them was the phone company, so I'm not sure that it counts.
Okay.
But it's,
man, that's pretty big.
Yeah,
right
she was not happy. They did not send me my. She's gonna kill me. They didn't send the SIM card.
You tell her I made you do it. Yeah.
They wouldn't send the SIM card with. They didn't send the SIM card with the phone that I got for Christmas.
This is a little American fighting with the phone company. Fighting with the phone company as always.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
But they ruined my Christmas essentially, and she was not having it. They didn't send the SIM card with my phone, so my sisters got to set up their new phones for Christmas, and I didn't get to, and she was not having it. But it was just anything. Now we had to mind. We were manners matter. We were raised that way. But you also didn't cross us when it came to her. She would tell us when we were wrong, and she would defend us fiercely when we were right. She tells you the truth. Exactly. She will tell you that she's strong enough to tell you the truth. She doesn't lie and enable you. Exactly.
Okay, good.
Exactly.
And then she will defend you when
you're right.
When you're right. So you better stay on the right side of it, right?
Toenail. Oh, yeah.
Okay. Sure. All right.
So,
anything else about Breaking the Bitch?
I can't remember.
I like that title. Let me write that down. Breaking the Bitch. I like it. Okay. I think I would listen to that if we put that on the title. Right. Breaking the Bitch. Okay.
I can't remember the other time she had to do it, but it's just an inside joke with us because you didn't mess with us. Not like that. Now, if we were wrong, she'd tell you to your face, "You're wrong. You need to fix it."
That's American fight right there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Raising three teenage girls is
stubborn. Stubborn to the other level. Yeah. Okay.
Exactly.
All right. Well, can you think of anything else you want to share with someone that's struggling to make a decision or domestic violence, how to get out of a bad relationship, a domestic violent relationship, or toxic stuff?
Just do it anyway.
Okay.
Do it scared, do it tired, do it terrified, do it with the clothes on your back, but just do it. Because if you're to the point where you're contemplating it, it's time. And it's not going to get better.
Okay.
They're not going to change.
Sometimes I say the easier cases is when someone is, when someone's trying to figure out whether to leave, they'll say, well, I can't leave this behind, or I can't leave my, whatever it is. But the people that are more likely to be successful is, I am going to set my face like flint, and I'm going to walk out. If I have to walk out naked, I'm walking out naked and unafraid. Like, kill me, whatever you got to do, but I am out of here.
Exactly.
So those are the cleaner breaks of it. And those are the people that are, but when you flounder around and you want to, make deals with the devil, or you want to talk about, I miss my, patio, or I miss my, pool. Yeah. Those are obviously, I'd love to have a pool myself,
right.
But if it came down to being in a bad situation, I'd rather leave my pool.
Oh, yeah.
And the house is on fire, get out,
Yeah.
But
if you're stuck on sentimental things, especially from a loved one, take a moment and imagine if your loved one would rather have you or you have their china, their birthday card, or if they would rather you be safe.
Yeah.
Because we all know the answer to that without even having to think about it. And that's the reality of it sometimes, is you keep your memories. You take them with you always. The memories are not in the things. It's nice to have the things, but the memories aren't in the things. And you can make new memories. You can get new things.
New things.
New things.
New towels, new furniture, new stuff. You'll get it back. And most of the time you don't really have to leave everything like you think, but you have to be prepared to do that if that's what it takes. So I really appreciate you being a guest on American Fight Stories with Dabar. We are challenging all Americans to be better Americans, and we're challenging people to learn more about domestic violence, and we're hoping that things that are said on the program will help someone who's struggling to know more information about domestic violence and more risk factors, early prevention of domestic violence, and talking with other people who have successfully transitioned from situations. And we are thankful that you're here. And you can find this podcast on Apple, Spotify, YouTube. Please rate, subscribe, and review. If you need to email me, it's at dabarcares@dabarlaw.com. And we'll close this out with a prayer. And you good with me praying? Is that good?
Yeah,
okay.
That's fine.
All right. So we thank you, Lord, for this day. We thank you for Jessica that's been here with us today. We thank you for her courage, the strength that you've put within her heart. We thank you for the strong women, survivors in her life, her great-grandmother, her grandmother, her mother, and herself, the strength that she has, that they are excellent mothers and that they are survivors. We thank you for that strength within them, and may it continue to encourage other generations of knowing that they have what it takes to survive. And we ask that you bless Jessica and her home, her children, and her family. And we ask that you bless other people who may be struggling in violent homes. And we ask that you would bless those homes and help us to have more homes with peace and safety. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.